As a church leader, your time and resources are limited. It's difficult to find discipleship and Bible study materials that are affordable, easily accessible, and high quality. But there is a way to equip the people in your church every day of the week without losing sleep. Welcome to Right Now Media, the world's largest library of video-driven Bible study resources, used by more than 20,000 churches, schools, and organizations. With a Right Now Media subscription, everyone in your church can access thousands of biblical resources for kids, couples, small groups, and more. Give your members access to great content, anytime, anywhere, on any device.
And God specifically says, the way you think, that's not the same way I think.
Equip and inspire everyone in your church beyond Sunday.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me right here in Solomon's Temple. My name is Solomon Izanga Shams, and I say welcome. I hope you're having a great day today. Thank you for our regular subscribers. It's good to have you here, and good to have everyone. If you're here visiting for the very first time, thank you so much. You were here, so I'm sure you're going to find something for yourself. And that's my prayer for you as always. But thank you so much for joining us. In Solomon's Temple, we just get to talk about issues concerning the Christian faith. What is okay? What is not okay? What can we do? What can we do better? Those are the big questions that we get to ask. So we're not really here to castigate anyone. We don't have an agenda against anybody, but we're just trying to truthfully look at issues. And that is what is important. So I thank you, everyone who's joined us already. Fumane, my friend, she sent Tay greetings. That's Mr. Greetings. Thank you, Pearl. You were here again. Diane, thank you so much. Osina Chi, watching from the US. Thank you for being here. Tahila says, it's been a long time since I watched you live, Malume. You've changed your broadcast time. Sort of. I no fixed time, actually, depending on what's going on. That's what it is. Good afternoon, Uncle Solomon. Well, it's evening here, but Eritrea, I don't know what part of the world you are at, but I'm sure it's afternoon where you are at. Halle, talking about the topic that we're looking at today, she said, I'm glad this came out. It's important the world knows it will be difficult to believe, but 17 years in Winners Chapels, eyes are open. Wow, you spent 17 years there. Thank you, Choni, Tembi. Good to have you here. Mabu Shah. It's been a while also from Mokopane. Good to have you here. You're Mokopane. Wow, that's good. I passed Mokopane the other day, yesterday actually. I was going down to Polokwane for my friend who's a pastor and a businessman. He launched a book. Actually, this is the book. May I encourage you to get a copy of this book? A friend of mine who's an entrepreneur and also a pastor wrote this book little by little. It's just a book that would help you to reflect, to recharge, and to reinvent yourself. You know, he's a very successful South African businessman, but he's also a pastor with his wife. His wife is actually a magistrate. She's a judge in the court. You know, so they are very key people in where God has placed them. So I went down to Polokwane, which is about 3 hours from Johannesburg. I went Saturday evening, night, and slept there and then attended the launch. It was a great time. This is a well done book. Please check Amazon for all of you guys who are international. Check Amazon. His name is Vusi Mashabane. All you guys who are international. This is a great book. You know, I normally don't bring book here to recommend for you guys, but this book I would definitely recommend for you guys. Thank you, John from Cape Town, Mami. All the way from Chicago. Represent, yes, indeed, Adelaide here in Gauteng. Thank you, High Power, Double M, everyone who is here. Thank you, Bertel, Chika, all the way from the US. Also, Fam from Nigeria. Houston, Texas is here. Bongani is here. Yeah, great to have you. Great to have you. Great to have all of you guys here. Oh, okay, Eritrea, you're out in Atlanta, Georgia. That's good. So Want to quickly jump to what I want to talk about, which is bishop and tax haven. Right, this is a very sort of like a very important topic to talk about. When I looked at it, I was actually sort of like looking for names, right? So for those of you guys who don't understand and who have not really heard about the Pandora papers, right? Let me give you a little bit of a background around the Pandora papers. So the Pandora papers are just accumulation of a couple of years of investigation by over 600 journalists across the world in about 150 different organizations who are looking at how money move from countries to countries and how money are being taken to countries where these countries are called tax haven. You know, countries like Hong Kong, I think Singapore is also a tax haven, Cayman Islands, the British Virgin Island, Jersey, up around the UK. So in these countries, they're very small countries. You know, sometimes they're like just a small island, you know, but they give you sort of like a very low tax. Uh, the tax there is very, very low, extremely low. And you also get opportunity to invest your money from there. And they also give you a level of secrecy, right? Where nobody can just access your can investigate and just get access to your details about your money, how your money is being moved, and all that kind of thing. You know, so that's what tax havens do. Monaco is a tax haven, if you know all these countries. So we've seen a lot of wealthy people, politicians who have stole government monies because there's no reason why a politician should be rich, except you were rich before you became a politician. It's fine, you know. Uh, Entertainers, business people, and now we're seeing pastors and bishops moving their monies from their countries, right? So they made the money from their country. Now, what they did is instead of paying tax for that money, keeping that money in the country and paying tax for it, they've moved the money to a country where it's a tax haven, which is a country where you pay a very low tax. And they guarantee you secrecy. So a government from your country cannot just go begin to investigate you and go over there and then they tell them where your money is and how you know. So you get that kind of benefit. So we've seen over the years. Actually, this week I'm going to try to look at about three. I'm going to look at three different Nigerian ministers who have done that. Today I'm looking at Bishop David Oyedepo, who appeared in the recent Pandora papers. I'm also going to look at Chris Oyakilome because he did that. His kids were teenagers when he did that. There were two people that stood in for the kids. Now I'm sure their names will be there. His ex-wife Anita's name was also there. They also moved their money to tax havens. TB Joshua moved his money also to tax havens. Now, a lot of you guys, like I said, some of you would be asking, what are these tax havens for? Like I said, tax havens are like small countries. Most of them are like small countries, like Cayman Islands, British Virgin Islands, maybe what? Maybe Bahamas, Jersey up there around the UK, Singapore, Hong Kong. These are places where you can move your money and keep your money. Your money is going to be safe. And then you can invest it internationally. Again, one, you are guaranteed secrecy. No one will come around and question you. Secondly, you are guaranteed low tax payment. Your payment is for tax is going to be low. Now, the danger of this tax havens is one, a lot of people use it to move criminal money, to launder money. We've seen a lot of politicians moving monies that they have embezzled in their countries, especially in Africa. Even Switzerland, part of Switzerland is a tax haven. and they move it there. Part of the UK is a tax haven. They move it there, and you can invest the money in a property. You can buy a big property, £5 million and all that. Nobody can just get access to all this information, except now with this Pandora's paper, like I was saying. It is an investigation that was done over a couple of years by over 600 journalists, investigative journalists, that were from over 150 different media organizations. They said, look, we need to dig deep when it comes to this tax haven. There's a lot of countries that are poor. There's a lot of people that made money illegally. Now they are moving monies to these tax havens where they're going to get some sort of secrecy. Nobody's going to know about it, whatever. So they started digging. They didn't just get that, go and ask up for it, and then they give them all the information. No, that's why it took them a long time, and it was a lot of people. And obviously, investigative journalism, they can get whatever they want to get. It just requires time and the right contact for them to be able to bring out the truth. Why do they do that? Because they believe that a lot of these people got their money fraudulently. That's one. And secondly, a lot of these people they're avoiding to pay tax in their own countries. Now, for a country like the US, if you are a US citizen and you move your money to a tax haven in British Virgin Island or in Singapore or Hong Kong or Switzerland, it's illegal for you to do that, right? Some countries it's not really illegal, but for a lot of countries it's illegal for you to move your money out of the country to another country where you're going to pay very little tax, and where nobody is going to find out how much you have and all that. Because if you're in a country, the government, the tax people, they know how much you have, because you're paying tax. So there's a record of how much you're worth, in as much as they wouldn't disclose it to just anyone, except there is a special investigation to get those kind of information. So our great Bishop David Oyedepo, about 10 years ago, Forbes magazine, Forbes magazine, they said Bishop David Oyedepo is worth about $150 million. That was about 10 years ago. So you can imagine how much it's worth now. So the recent Pandora's papers that was released about 2 weeks ago, his name now cropped up. There were other names of Nigerian politicians and business people that also cropped up. But in this investigation, Pandora's papers, his name cropped up. Again, like I said, maybe in Wednesday, I'm going to look at another name that has cropped up in one of these tax haven scandal. I'm going to look at Chris Oyakhilome, and I'm also going to look at TB Joshua, because their names also cropped up a few years ago. So I'm going to bring that to you just so you look at it. And you see, they move this money to tax havens, and the money is entirely for them and their family. So they register a business, right? They contact someone, an organizations that normally register businesses for people, register a business that's going to be secret and everything, and then they put in the money there. And normally this tax havens, the money, if you go there and see who are the directors or who are involved, is always the family, like I'm going to show you with Bishop David Oyedepo, based on the information that was released through these Pandora's papers by their over 600, investigative journalists that investigated it. So now, this is how it started. This is what, one of the headlines, Pandora Papers, how Bishop David Oyedepo set up family offshore company in tax haven. So it's normally about them and the family. You see where there is always a problem. Even if I would, during the week, I would take you through how Chris Oyakhilome did his also. It was him and about his family. His kids were teenagers then, so they were not able to be put in, but their names was put in, but there were two other people that were standing in for them until they now become adults. And then TB Joshua also, he also has he set up a family company, offshore company in a tax haven country, where his wife was also, him and his wife were the two directors. His wife Evelyn. So this is what they do. They go to a tax haven, or they contract somebody in the US or in the UK who can facilitate and register for them a company in one of these countries that is a tax haven where you pay low tax. And then they now move their money from their country, from Nigeria. They move their money to these countries. They find a way to move it. And all of that is a secret. Nobody would ever reveal that to you. The government of that country will not reveal that to you. The banks in that country will not reveal that to you. That's why these investigative journalists that actually came up with this, they had to really, really investigate, because nobody would ever reveal that to you. You remember what happened to Nigeria when Sani Abacha stole about $1 billion and slashed it across, the Switzerland and all that kind of stuff. This is almost like 20 years later, there's still monies that is still there, because normally they would not, except there's pressure where they said, no, this money was stolen, then they would give some information. So this is the information here. So like I said, the project, which is the Pandora's paper, involved 600 journalists from 150 news organizations around the world, sorting and analyzing a trove of almost 12 million confidential files, tracking down and interviewing sources and adding context using public records and other documents. 12 million confidential files. So these are confidential files. Again, because the whole thing is in secrecy, it's like a secret, that you're not just going to get that information. But they managed to get confidential files. So the journalists actually got files that they were not supposed to get. But they had to get it because they are journalists, and their own investigation is for a good cause. They're not investigating to try to expose anybody or for doing good or they have an agenda. No, they're trying to say, no, a lot of politicians are moving money here. A lot of business people are moving money here from their countries, monies that their countries could benefit from. Why? Why are they even allowing them to do that? Why are they even allowing them to do that? So this is what happened with Bishop David Oyedepo. So he registered a company after he contacted the people, his contacts there that registers company. They registered a company for him called Zadok Investments Limited. It was set up on August 20th, 2007, with 50,000 ordinary shares with a value of $1 each. Although the directors of the company are Mr. Oyedepo and his two sons, David Jr. and Isaac, every member of Mr. Oyedepo's family are listed as shareholders. So it's a family business. Mr. Oyedepo and his wife, Faith, are the largest shareholders with 30% shares each. So each of their kids, even their two daughters, they all have a share there. The company he registered is called Zadok Investments. So if you know Zadok, if you look at First Kings, and if you look at the book of Samuel, and I think also the book of Ezekiel, you would hear about Zadok. Zadok was a priest. Just so you could see that, this is actually connected to him. He brought in the biblical side of it in the naming of his company. Zadok was a priest that was very loyal to King David. Go and check your Bible, or you can just Google Zadok, the priest. He was a priest that was very loyal to David. So that was what he used to actually register the company. And obviously, once you register the company here, you can see it is Zadok Investment. So there you get number of shares, and then you divide the shares based on the directors of the company. So he put in his sons, There's David Jr., who is actually the resident pastor of Canaan Land right now. He was a pastor here. The younger one, Isaac, was the pastor here in Johannesburg Winners Chapel when he came from the UK to Johannesburg. But I think he's a pastor up there in Abuja now, one of the churches there in Abuja. So Bishop Oyedepo and his wife, they took 30% shares between them, and then the rest, 40%, they shared amongst their children. So it's a family business, people. It's a family business. Is it totally family's money that he made? I don't know. Is it money just from his book sales, or is it money from profit from the university? Who does the university belong to? That Canaan Land, Covenant University, who does it belong to? We need to ask these questions, and you need to go and look for the papers to see who actually does. Does the university belong to the church, the community, or it belongs to the Oyedepo? We don't know. I'm just asking a question. I actually don't know anything about it. But we have to ask questions. And then the final slide is here saying the documents did not reveal the exact businesses and transactions the offshore company was set up to conduct. The entity, however, appears to be the family's investment vehicle under which the family's wealth is warehoused for offshore management. So there's so much in this slide. It said the document did not reveal the exact business and transaction the offshore company was set up to conduct. So not even sure which business they were set up to conduct. But the entity appears to be the family's investment vehicle under which the family's wealth is warehoused for offshore management. So you moved your money to these places and then you put it here for offshore management. You look for opportunities to invest where you can make more money. You look for opportunities to make sure that at least you have money there, but your taxes, you're paying very low tax. And you're sure that nobody is going to investigate and try to get that. So for the journalists to even get to the place where they drew out and they extracted this information, it's quite a lot of work. It's quite a lot of work. The president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, his family is also involved in it. And how much was put in there, they didn't discover that. Because like I said, the whole thing is confidential and there's a lot of secrecy around it. It's important for them to be covered up because that's what it is. So now let's look at it from this perspective. This is a bishop who runs one of the biggest churches in the country, encouraging people to give, encouraging people to work hard, right? In a country that has almost like the #1 poverty level in the world, in a country where there is a lot of unemployment, in a country where foreign investors are not even attracted to as much as other countries. And now you're taking your money off to another country and you're giving another country the opportunity to invest your money so they can make more money, so you can make more money. That means you do not care about your country where the money actually originated. That's #1. #2, when you take your money out of your country, you take it to one of these offshore tax havens, to your offshore company, you're denying your country the opportunity to take a tax from you, for you to pay tax. But then you keep preaching, the country is going to change. You keep blaming other people, but you're busy setting up a company for your family and then you're moving your money there. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Don't you have faith enough to leave your money in the country and look for ways to invest it better and protect it there? That way you can create job. You can put it in banks. That way they can give other people loan. The bank can use your money to give other people loan. At the end of the day, you're going to make money also. You've gotten to a place where from where you're making money, you have declared the country you're making money hopeless. You're almost saying, I don't care about this country. So you're now moving your money overseas. But this is the country that makes you who you are, that made you who you are today, that gave you the money, where you made the money in the first place. Now, the argument where whether he made the money from church or from tithe and offering or whatever, that's another debate on its own. But in a country where you got blessed, you decided to take this huge amount of money. And I'm talking about when they move these monies, we're talking about huge amounts of money here. We're talking about millions. And you take it there, even if it's $1 million. How much is that in Nigeria today? That's about what? 400 million naira. You can imagine if you set up a business or that money is in the bank and how the bank can use it to give other people loan or whatever. You know, the Bible is very clear. As I close, I just want to share the scripture with you. In Romans 13:7, it says, give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. If honor, then honor. I want to concentrate on the first part. It said, give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. And I feel as a citizen of Nigeria, I'm not sure what the law in Nigeria says, but I think it's illegal even in the law of Nigeria. I think I was looking at the FIRS, the Federal Inland Revenue Services, people talking about it recently, saying that they're gonna go after them, but that's all talk. But it shows that even in Nigeria, it's some sort of like illegal for you to move your money, to set up an offshore company in a tax haven and put your money there. I remember for somebody like Bishop David Oyedepo, the money it depends if he's getting the money from the taxes, from the offering or tithes, I don't know. But I mean, he has churches all across the world. So the money might come from the UK into that offshore company in the tax haven. The money might come from the US because they have big churches in the US. They have big churches in the UK. It might come from South Africa. They have big churches here. But here, Paul was actually encouraging everyone in Romans, writing to the church in Rome. He said, if you owe taxes, pay taxes. But here we see a case of avoidance of taxes, no matter how little that money was. Again, we're not sure how much they moved. But here we are seeing an orchestrated design to avoid taxes and protecting the family's wealth and business, the family's finances. Now, that coming from Bishop, is that really appropriate? You help me think about this. Is that appropriate? In a country where the poverty level is so high, in a country where people, graduates, people with bachelor's degree, master's degree are struggling to get a job. For you to even get a job in Nigeria now, the level to start, the education qualification to start with is a master's degree. A master's degree in Nigeria is almost like a bachelor's degree. But still, if they tell you how much they pay them, you'll be shocked. So instead of leaving these monies in the country, I know things are not going on well, but if we are people of faith, we say, no, we're going to put it here. Whatever happens, we invest it here so the people here could benefit from it. But that's not what we're seeing, unfortunately. Like I said again, during the week, I'm gonna shed light on the same sort of like case with around Chris Oyakhilome and also TB Joshua. Because most of these top clergymen that you see, ministers, pastors, bishops in Nigeria, prophets, they have accounts offshore accounts. They registered companies in some of these tax havens and putting their money there, where they're going to pay very low tax, where they can invest and make so much profit elsewhere whilst their country is suffering. Any money you move out of the country suffers. The people suffer. And you being a leader of millions in the country for so many years, you're moving that away. Have you ever told anyone that you have an offshore account? Let's talk about transparency here. Have you ever said that from the pulpit? Now look, make sure you move your money to offshore account, because you know you cannot say that, and you know it's illegal in the country. Let me check some of your comments. Watching the Hawk says, by your fruit you shall know them. Harley says, ask Bishop what the salary is paid to pastors and winners. This is the reason Bishop Gaiman took over Ghana Church. People saw so much money diverted over the years. Indeed, I heard about this scandal where this Bishop Gaiman said, no, I'm taking over. I'm not even leaving the church. I'm taking over. Christina says, and still robbing people of their hard-earned money to expand his family's empire. Sisonke said, this guy is very brave. He's not afraid to get sued by Bishop. I'm not telling you something. I'm telling you something that is it's an investigation that was done by over 600 journalists. I'm not creating this information. You think the names that were mentioned, people like them Kenyatta, people like them Oyedepo, there was a lot of politicians and former prime ministers or whatever that were mentioned. You think they're going to go sue this John? No, they're doing their job. They're doing their job because they're telling you that these people are cheating the system. And it's not fair if they're cheating the system. The poor person suffers when you take your money away and put it in a place where you pay a very low tax and whatever. Double M says, it is very wrong and illegal. Let the eyes of the understanding of people be open. He took from the needy and made wealth for his own family. He fought hard when government raised tax issues. Yeah, he's always fighting government raised tax issues. And you just, I don't know. Yeah, people are really actually mentioning it. Here's Austin again actually saying this is the reason he was against any government that encourages tax. You see? Yeah, please subscribe. Adejemo is actually looking at it from another perspective. And you could actually look at it as a money laundering situation. Money laundering is about moving money in an illegal way to another location. That's what money laundering is. You launder money. And it's illegal. It's illegal. Anyway, we're Nigerian, so where everything goes, but it's illegal. Palesa is being very sober, where she says, we came into this world with nothing, and we will die and leave every worldly thing. Spring, they are all robbers, church Yahoo boys. He has secured the future of his children. Winners does not allow pastors any means to other sources of livelihood. You can now understand the boasting when he said he's the richest pastor. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Indeed. I am very always happy whenever justice takes its course. Olawumi says the three P's destroying Nigeria: pastors, politicians, and policemen. God, please deliver us from them all and give us good leaders. Watching the Hawk says, Solomon, you're now waking up. You've been praising these old pastors thinking their hands is clean. No, I'm not praising them. You see, for me, because we feel somebody's hands is not clean doesn't mean two of his hands are not clean. Maybe the one hand is clean and the one is not clean. And I can tell you, and I'll be straightforward and tell you, look, this hand is clean, and the one that is not clean, I tell you. So I don't paint the whole person with one brush. No, I would praise and celebrate the areas where they're doing well. Like I always said here, TB Joshua helped people. Yeah, we cannot take that away from him. He helped a lot of people. But why did he help people? Because he had an ulterior motive. He had an agenda to deceive us, to think he's a giver, to think he's a philanthropist, you know. But we cannot say he didn't help people. No. But we have to ask the question, why? Why? It then says, whenever you go and give money to these men, you are merely building an empire for the families. It is no giving to God. Go and build your own family wealth. Don't allow people manipulate you in God's name. Mami, yet poor people will go and pay tithes. Why? While their children don't have school fees. Indeed, true. And they go begging others for help. It's sad. Very, very sad. You know, if we really want to live like Christ in a radical way, trust me, there's no bishop or prophet in Africa that would buy a private jet, a helicopter. No. If you want to live like Christ, if you want to live like Christ in the face of poverty, in the face of lack, in the case of in the face of education system and schools being destroyed, and then you're buying private jets, you're buying big houses, you have offshore accounts, you will give everything away and just have enough for you and your family. That is what a Christ way of living would do to us. I'm saying that because I know if I was in that kind of position with that kind of wealth, even with the little that I have, I still have to give. And I will sit down and even feel guilty that I actually have more than other people, to be honest with you, because I just feel it's wrong for us to have so much, for anyone to have so much, when facing you face to face is a situation like Mami was saying, poor people who cannot even send their kids to school. No, let's not even get there, guys. Let's not. I'm beginning to get all emotional now. Well, let's just leave it there. And finally, again, let me just throw this in there. Paul was writing to the church in Rome. In Romans 13:7, it says, give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe them taxes, pay taxes. But what we see in these cases of these offshore accounts and tax haven thing is you're avoiding taxes. You're avoiding to pay taxes. You're a Nigerian, you carry a Nigerian passport. You made your money in Nigeria. I feel you owe Nigeria that. You owe Nigeria taxes and you need to pay taxes. Between now and Friday, I'm going to come in and discuss the same thing that Chris Oyekilome did. TB Joshua did the same thing too. TB Joshua has an account in Cayman Island, him and his wife, offshore account. I'm going to come and give you some of the documentation here. It's sad. Pastors, bishops, and prophets should be the last people to think about moving their money offshore to an offshore account to a tax haven. they should be the last people, because they care about people more than the politicians care about people, more than the business people care about people, more than the entertainers care about people. They are the people that care for people, the number one, more than any other person and people. Anyway, let's continue to believe that any country you're in, you can be in Ghana, you can be in Nigeria, Kenya, that you have a contribution to make, whether it's little, but do the right thing as a citizen. That's why I tell people, Nigeria would never change when you and I have not decided we want to do the right thing. We can claim that we want to do the right thing. Once we get an opportunity, we don't do the right thing. We take money, we embezzle. I have seen.
Masinya Attorneys Incorporated, a boutique commercial and taxation law firm in Midrand, Johannesburg, South.
Sorry about that. So I've seen that over and over again. So let's make a commitment. Make a commitment to your nation. Make a commitment to, and it's not just a one-person commitment. If we don't all do it, if we don't, majority of us do it, we can never see change. We will never see change, not in our lifetime. And guess what? Our children, they will suffer. It's sad for me when I think that my children, at least they have an option of either they can go to Nigeria or stay in South Africa. There are better opportunities in South Africa and all that. At least they have 2 passports. But I don't think it's something for me to even be proud of. You know, I don't think it's something for me to, but it's something for me to be disappointed about, that they would take the option of just South Africa because Nigeria is in tatters, because their father didn't do enough. Every one of us has a bit of role to play. So I do hope that we'll continue to do that. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you and keep you and cause his face to shine upon you. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure you share this video. God bless you and have a wonderful day.
Masinya Attorneys Incorporated, a boutique commercial and taxation law firm in Midrand, Johannesburg, South Africa. Strategic lawyers on point with more than 20 years of practice experience. We are professional, capable, and qualified.